Hello Year 7, today's lesson is going to be on sequence rules. So sequences show data arranged in an order according to a rule. For example, we could have the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and the rule here is that we add 2 each time. Now today's lesson is going to cover a lot of similar things to what we covered in last week's lesson. That's because this is a really important concept, so we have to spend more than one lesson on the basics. So let's do a couple of examples. Here we have got some ice cream flavours being added to a cone and some flowers in a vase which will eventually, unfortunately, need to be thrown away because they have died. So, for part A, what's happening? We've got one flavour in the first cone, 2 flavours in the second cone, 3 in the third cone, and 4 in the fourth cone. So our rule to get from one term in the sequence to the next one is to add 1. From 1 to 2, that is adding 1. From 2 to 3, that is adding 1. From 3 to 4, that is adding 1. So we can make that really clear and say the rule is add 1. What about in the flowers sequence? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 flowers in the first vase. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flowers in the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And then 0. So what's happening each time? We're subtracting 3. Go from 12 to 9, that is subtract 3. 9 to 6, that is subtract 3. Subtract 3, subtract 3. So the rule is subtract 3. Now each of these sequences could be extended. For the first sequence, we could do the next few terms. They would be 5, 6, 7. In terms of the actual real life situation, 7 ice cream flavours is probably going to fall down. But if we just take the numbers, we could extend it. The same in the second sequence. The next few terms would be -3, -6, -9. Now in terms of the real life situation, these don't make any sense because you can't have -3 flowers. However, if we just look at the numbers, the sequence could carry on because we could carry on subtracting 3. So for both of these sequences we've defined a rule. However, to fully define a sequence, we need to give the rule and the starting number. If I said to you, I'm thinking of a sequence, the rule is add 3, would you be able to come up with my sequence? No, because I might be doing 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, but I might have started at 4 and be doing 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. So just from this information, you wouldn't be able to tell me what the sequence is because you don't know what number to start at. So, important bit of information that you should write down. When we define, which means we create, a sequence, we need to give the first term which is also our starting number, and the rule. So make sure you've got that copied down, please. You should have everything so far copied down as usual, so if you haven't, rewind the video please to do so. So I could give you an example. A sequence has rule, add 5, and first term 2. Find the first 5 terms of the sequence. So, first term is 2, and then I'm adding 5 each time. So plus 5 is 7, plus 5 is 12, plus 5 is 17, and plus 5 is 22. So I have now found the 1, 2, 3, 4 first 5 terms of the sequence. Okay, so let's do another example. If I'm ever going too fast, just pause the video and then you can copy that down and then press play again. So, another example here. Josh, Joni and James generate 3 different sequences using the same starting number but different sequence rules. Define each of their sequences. So we can see, well, pause the video and copy that down please, and copy down their sequence. Okay, so we can see that they've all started with the number 20. So let's write each of them separately. So first term for Josh is 20, and the rule, can you see what the rule is? The rule is add 11. For Joni, same first term, and again the rule. So Joni is starting at 20, then goes to 14, 8, 2, -4, and we can see from her calculations the rule is subtract 6. Finally, for James, 20 is the first term. Then the next terms are 22.5, 25, 27.5 and 30, and we can see from the calculation he has added 2.5 each time. So those are the 3 sequences, fully defined, because in each case we've given the first term and the rule. So you should now be able to attempt the worksheet that I've put on Show My Homework. I am going to go through a couple of the questions, but you should pause the video now please and have a go, and then unpause the video to see some of the answers. So here we have question 1. So for question 1, I'm going to fill in each of the missing numbers first of all. Or, no, actually I'm not. I'm going to do part B first. So this is first term 5, and then the rule is add 4. So now that I can see that, I can just fill in these other two numbers. This one, part B, first term 23. Rule is subtract 8. So I will have -9 and -17. Next one, first term is 1, and the rule is multiply by 4. So we've got 1 times 4 is 4, times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, times 4 is 256. You might have needed to use your calculator for that one. Sequence D, first term is 3, and the rule is so this one is +3, then +6, then +12, or we can say multiply by 2. So this would be 48, and this would be 96. Next one, first term is 40, and it is dividing by 2. So this is divide by 2 to get 20, divide by 2 to get 10, so it'll be 5 and then 2.5. Next one, first term is 0, and the rule seems to be add 1.5. So we'll have 6 and 7.5. And then our last one we've got first term is 0.5, and what's going on? Let's see, we've added 2.5 here, 2.5 here, so clearly the rule is add 2.5, so we'll get 10.5 here and 13 here. So that should be your answer for question 1. So can you mark that, please? And let's do question 2. If you didn't quite see the answers there, just go backwards and pause the video. So for question 2, generate the first 4 terms. So A is going to be 6, 13, 20, 27, because we're starting with 6 and we're adding 7 each time. B starts with 15, because it says that's the first term, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. C starts with 2, and we're multiplying by 3. 18 times 3 is 54. Okay, part D. Actually going to see, can I make this a little bit bigger? No, I can't, for some reason. Okay, I've made that a little bit bigger so that they line up. So for part D, we've got 0 and we're subtracting 2. Part E, we're starting at 16 and subtracting 5. Part F, we're starting at 100 and dividing by 2. For part G, we're starting at 2.5 and multiplying by 4. H, we're starting at -7 and we're adding 2. For I, we're starting at 100 and we're dividing by 10. And for part J, we're starting at 10 and we're adding 2.5. So those are your answers for part 2. So mark those, please. And pause the video if you need a bit more time. Okay, finally, I'm going to go through questions 3 and 4. And this just involves filling in the missing terms. So, to fill in the missing terms, we're going to need to figure out what the rule is. So here we can see we've added 3 and added 3. So if we now have to work backwards, that must have been 10 and this must have been 7. For this one, it looks like the rule is subtract 5, so we have to work backwards. So it must have started at 33. This one, the rule is clearly multiply by 4, so we need something that multiplied by 4 to get 4, and that should be 1. This one, it looks like it's dividing by 2. So the terms must have started at 240. For this one, it's add 2.5. So it must have started at 0. For this one, it's subtract 15. So it must have started at 55. The next one, part A, is a little bit tricky because we've got every other number missing. So let's have a look at what's happening here. To get from 1 to 5, it's add 4, and to get from 5 to 9, it's add 4. So in between, it must be add 2. For this one, it looks like it's add 3, so let's check if that works. Yes, that works with 15. So that's fine. For part C, this is subtract 10 and this is subtract 10, so in between must be subtract 5, and that works as well. This looks like it's add 3, so let's see if that works. Yes, it does. 11 add 3 is 14, so that's fine. And lastly, got another one where it skips a load of terms. So this is plus 14 and this is plus 14. So in between it must be plus 7. Does that work? 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 7 is 20. Yes. Then 27, 34 and then 41. So make sure you have marked all of your answers, and then can you please upload your work to show my homework. If you get really stuck, leave me a comment and I can do a video showing you, explaining it in a little bit more detail.